A wonderful good morning to all the Toastmasters and my dear guests. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Toastmaster Manjusha and I'll be the sergeant at arms for today's meeting. I welcome you all to today's educational session on the art of evaluation. Before we start the meeting, here are the 4 golden rules we all need to follow. So, the first one, while evaluating, you should give your 100% attention to the speaker. So to do that, you should have no deviations. So keep all the noise making devices on silent mode. I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. All right? Yeah. And the second one, while evaluating, you should be available in the meeting hall throughout the speech. So to do that, you shouldn't walk out of the meeting hall while the meeting is in progress. And the third one, please refrain yourself from talking about topics like gender, religion, caste, or politics, or any other controversial topics, just like you do during your evaluation. And the fourth one, during the biology exam, I don't like writing any physics answer. So while you're on the stage, please be mindful of the topics you choose to talk on the stage. Evaluation is something which is very prominent in shaping an individual as a better speaker. Let us have a fun-filled learning session in mastering this art of evaluation. So I welcome our today's presiding officer, Toastmaster Janani, onto the stage.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manjusha. I'm Janani and I'll be the presiding officer for today's meeting. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Can I get a good morning? More energetic. More energetic. That's better. Good morning once again. Today's meeting is going to be really special. It's not like any other normal meeting, but it is an educational session. Much more learnings and lots of fun. But before that, let me open the meeting. I declare meeting number 201, 2.1 theme educational session open. With that being said, we have our club's mission. The club mission states like this. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop their communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With that being said, I have few suggestions to everyone. Have a paper or notebook in your hand so that you can take down all the points that the speaker has in for today. We are going to learn a lot and also at the same time have fun. And the second thing is I request the online audience to turn on the camera so that it would be more interactive. We could see your faces. With that being said, all the best to Toastmaster Rajesh. I'll hand over the stage to the master of ceremony today, Toastmaster Veerabhadrao.
A very good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests present here. Good morning. Good morning. I'll be your master of the ceremony for today's meeting. 27th February 2022 is when I joined Toastmasters. After joining Toastmasters, just like other people, I started giving speeches, attending the club meetings, and then taking up roles, and then participating in table topic sessions. But for the first time when I took TMOD, my mentor called me and told me, hey, Vinay, there is this one person whom you should address about. He's Ralsis Medley. And I asked him, hi, mentor, who is Ralsis Medley? He told me that Toastmasters is an international organization which is established on 22nd of October, 1924. And now this organization's headquarters is in Englewood, Colorado. And Toastmasters helps us to learn a lot about public speaking and leadership skills. Now, presently, Toastmasters have a membership of around 280,000 in more than 16,000, 14,700 clubs, around 144 different countries. And then I asked him, hey, mentor, like, how do you know all this information? He told me that, hey, I'm a Toastmaster, so it's obvious for me. Later, I found it that he just simply read the information which is available in Toastmaster website. After that, joining Toastmasters is a very new, different experience. You'll get to know a lot of things, and you'll have a proper feedback which will be given by your evaluators. So there'll be 11 pathways. I took engaging humor, and then there'll be some positive feedbacks and negative feedbacks which you will get for your speeches. But luckily, I got many negative feedbacks, especially from my mentor. So getting these negative feedbacks, not even like they do not make you depressed, but it helps you to learn a lot, to develop your speeches. And then also while getting those feedbacks, you'll, the levels of the innovation will grow up, because for every speech, your mentor will be calling you and he'll be scolding you. So that helps a lot. And we do have an evaluation segment in our Toastmaster meeting. If you ask me what is an evaluation segment, evaluation provides a systematic process to study a program or an initiative to know or understand whether you achieve your goals or not. Jagdish, you don't understand it, right? Neither do I, because I Googled it. So in simple words, evaluation is given to a role taker or a speaker to tell them whether they justify their role or not, or they meet the speech objectives or not. And then during evaluation, you will get many things like suggestions and challenges, which helps you a lot to improve. And coming to today's meeting, in today's meeting, we'll be having an educational session on evaluation. And then we'll be having a speech, and we'll be having a speech evaluation. After that, 5 minutes of break, which everyone of us like. And then after that, table topic session, which will be conducted by Toastmaster Daksh. So the timer for today's meeting is Toastmaster Harshitha. Hi, Toastmaster Harshitha. So the time for evaluation is 25 minutes. I would like to request you to raise green card for 20 minutes and then red card for 25 minutes. And with that being said, I would like to introduce the guest speaker for today's meeting. So Toastmaster Rajesh. Toastmaster Rajesh is an electronics engineer, and he's currently working in Intel. And like he's near to complete his 10 years of experience in Toastmasters. And with that being said, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Rajesh onto the stage.
Hello all, I'm not going to say good morning or test your energies right now, because our Toastmaster of the day has already done the evaluation session. What did he speak? He spoke about objectives, he spoke about challenges, and he spoke about suggestions. But again, there are a few nitty-gritty details that I'll probably go through, given that he's already set the context. So before that, can we have a big round of applause for Toastmaster Veera? Now, I don't have a formal agenda, but there's a small card which I'm trying to experiment on how to conduct an education session by just having 4 bullet points. So it's a test for me also, and you'll all evaluate me after 25 minutes. Is that okay? Great. So to start with, simple question. Why should we evaluate a speech? Let's focus specifically on the speech. Why do you think we should evaluate a speech? Provide feedback. What does the feedback help? To make the speaker better. Great. Any other aspects? Is the evaluation only for the speaker? Will it benefit only the speaker? It's a Okay, I'll just repeat your name again. Daksh mentions that the evaluator also gets a retrospect on what he can do better in his own next speech. Is that right? So can we have a big round of applause for Daksh? So it's a reflection for the evaluator to be something better through his own evaluation or from something from the speaker. Who else benefits from the evaluation? The audience. How? Great. Your name again. Pranav. Pranav says that the audience also learns from the speaker and the evaluator how effectively one can do or what are the areas they can focus on. So through this, what we learn is when an evaluator takes up the stage, the benefit is not just for the speaker, but for himself or herself and for the audience also. Great. Now, what do you evaluate on? When the speaker goes on stage, what's the first thing that you think of when you are going to evaluate or when you begin your evaluation? Body language. Okay. Interaction with audience. Great. Confident enough. So vocal variety, body language, whether the person is confident enough. This side, fairly quiet today. Content, how the content is being framed. Structure, great. The delivery, I'll take it in the vocal variety, body language, and the connect with the audience that you said. Great. With the content, again, I'll connect Pranav with what Harsha has said. Thank you. A big round of applause for Veera here. When you go on stage, it's all about objectives. An icebreaker speech, would you talk about content? Would you talk about body language? Would you talk about delivery? Maybe not. I would see how the speaker is on stage, whether he or she is comfortable to talk about themselves, isn't it? So the subsequent speeches is where we think of vocal variety and body language. So the first and foremost is understand what are the objectives of the speech and try to look in for the objectives of the speech while you're hearing it. Any questions on this? So what do you look for in the speech? Primarily, objectives. Every speech has an objective and they are delivered on the objectives. Now, let's get serious. Let's go beyond the objectives. Has anyone heard something called as a purpose, speech purpose? Harsha, can you give some insights? What do you mean by purpose of a speech? Okay. Okay. So based on the audience, Harsha says that his story, there's a certain purpose and the purpose keeps changing. Right? So let me be, again, very specific about purpose of a speech. There are two types of purpose. Every speech, any speech that you pick up will have two types of purposes. The one is called general purpose. In general, what does the speaker want to say? I could entertain you today. I could share a story. I could give you some guidance on how to cook food. It could be informative. So in general, the general purpose of a speech is to engage the audience, entertain the audience, inform the audience, or teach something to the audience. The second part is where things get very serious. And this is something I often don't see people identifying. So hear me out carefully. There is something called a specific purpose. Beyond general purpose, there is one thing that you always have to look in a speech is called specific purpose. Now, how do you look for specific purpose? Ask one question. Has the speaker asked you to do something, motivated you to do something, inspired you to do something, or to think something about? So usually I call it as a key takeaway. What is that one action item that the speaker has given to you? If you have an answer for that, the speaker has a specific purpose in his speech. No? Yes? Maybe? So my specific purpose today is to make sure that you learn 3 techniques of effective evaluation. At the end of the session, if your answer is, has Rajesh taught me 3 techniques? If the answer is no, I have not achieved my specific purpose. I've only given you insights about speech evaluation. Just like that, every speech will have a specific purpose. You ask yourself, what is the speaker asking me to do or asking me to think about? If you have an answer, that's your specific purpose. Yes, no, maybe, sleepy, going over the top, bouncer. No. All right, let's take a pause from the so much of Gyan that I've shared right now. And let me again ask a series of questions. When you've seen, how many of you have seen evaluation contests? Approximately 90%, and the rest of them are still thinking, what is evaluation contest? Have you seen any of the two evaluations exactly the same? Why do you think so? Everyone has a different perspective. Evaluations are extremely subjective. Today, somebody will like vanilla, somebody will like pineapple on pizza, somebody will hate strawberry. So everybody has a taste. So evaluations are extremely subjective. What one person might see as an area of improvement, other person might see it as a strength. As long as you have a logical backing or a logical reasoning, the audience will agree with you. So how do you do it? How many of you are engineers here? Can I have show of hands of people from electrical and electronics engineering in specific? So the solution to have a logical evaluation is triple E. And I'll help you out what it is. How many of you can understand Telugu here? Okay, that is surprising and shocking. Don't worry, for the non-Telugu people, I'll explain what triple E stands for. So triple E in general in Telugu, I've made this up. It's called Enduku, Yemiti, Yela. If you've not watched this movie, please go back home and do watch it. It's a Babu Mohan movie. And looking at your faces, you guys don't know who's Babu Mohan. So Yenduku Yemiti Yela is Yenduku means why. Yemiti means what. Yela means how. I repeat, what, why, and how. For every point you give in your evaluations, ask these questions. What is it that you liked in the speech? Why is it that you liked in the speech? And how do you think this is impacting or helping the speech? Similarly, when you say this is an area of improvement, what is the area of improvement? Why do you think it's an area of improvement? How do you think the speaker can improve on this area of improvement? So the answer is triple E. Enduku, Yemiti, Yela. Clear? So this is one of the best solutions or methods that you can think of while writing your evaluations. First, let me go back again, recap. Look at the objectives. Look at the general purpose, which is again mostly a story, information. Identify the specific purpose by asking, what is that one action or thought that the speaker is trying to inject? And when you're trying to come up with your evaluation, for every point, the body language was good. But how? Where? How do you think the body language added? Oh, you need to improve on your body language. Where? Which part of the speech? How do you think the speaker can improve? And why do you think it should be added? For instance, you're trying to convey a sad message, but you're smiling and saying it. So the audience will be like, is he being sarcastic? No. So this is an example that I'm telling you that you have to ask these questions of triple E. Enduku, Emiti, Ela. Clear? Yes, no, maybe? Next point. We'll talk about some methods on evaluation. Most of you, when you evaluate, what do? Can anyone share a template that they have for evaluation apart from this side? And Pranav and Daksh, anyone else can share any templates that they follow for evaluation? When you hear a speech, sorry, sandwich method. Can you give me some insights on what this sandwich method is? Things that went well. Recommendations. Challenges. So things that went well in the speech, areas of recommendations or improvement, and then you throw in some challenges, and then that's the sandwich method. Your name again? Manjusha. Can we have a round of applause for Manjusha? So sandwich method is one of the most popularly used method, which I haven't used at all. I'll probably give it a try next time. So here are 3 techniques which I want you to give it a try. And the first one is called 3, 2, 1. As simple as the numbers say, that's the most common method that most of us follow. 3 areas where you felt the speaker did great. When you're giving away the 3 areas, ask Enduku, Emiti, Yela for everything. 2 areas of recommendations where you feel the speaker can improve. This could include challenges. Again, Enduku, Emiti, Yela is what you're going to ask. The one is nothing but making sure you summarize your 3 and 2. Remember, folks, the major objective for you also as an evaluator is to make sure that the speaker comes next time on the stage and continues to speak. Your objective is to motivate the speaker. And the summary becomes one aspect which your evaluation will be remembered forever, not for the speaker, but for everyone. So always remember, never ever leave the stage without summarizing your evaluation. Let there be red card. Make sure you spend 15 to 20 seconds to summarize your evaluation. Agreed? Rajesh has said, I don't care about the red card. I will make sure I'll finish my summary and leave. But hopefully over time, when it becomes a habit, you will do it within the time. Now you should ask me, Rajesh, why? Why? Why should I summarize? Unfortunately, the contest ballot carries 10 marks for summary. And you outright lose 10 points if you don't summarize, even though you had a brilliant evaluation. You might score well on the critical surgery of the speech and giving really good answers on the evaluation. But if you miss out on the summary, you will lose 10 very important points. So I don't want you guys to miss on that. So make it a habit by making sure you summarize. Any questions on 3, 2, 1? This is the most simple technique, right? The second one is called CRC. No, it is not circular redundancy check. All the CS people, any CS people here? Nobody knows circular redundancy checks? Oh, great. Okay. So CRC stands for commend, recommend, commend, recommend. Every speech, we generally focus on the delivery. But guys, there is another aspect of the speech called as content. So what I've observed evaluators do is they take up, let me comment on your content of the speech. They'll give commendations, recommendations. Commendations means something that they liked about the content and areas of improvement on the content. Then they switch to the delivery part. They share comments, recommendations. So that's how, this is another technique where they say that let me talk about your content first, then let me talk about your delivery first. And in the end, again, summarize. Simple CRC technique, comment, recommend, comment, recommend. You can talk about content and delivery because content is king. That's what my mentor says. Without content, you can't make any impact onto the audience. So what was the first technique? 3, 2, 1. That's clear. Second technique, CRC. So the last technique is what I call it as hatke. Everybody understands what hatke is? No, it's a Hindi term. It means something that stands out. It's nothing but a modified version of your CRC or your 3, 2, 1. I've seen a lot of evaluators use abbreviations. The speaker might have used some abbreviations in the speech. Suppose we say, let me evaluate a speech with TAB, where T might have some significance, A might have something, and B might have. I've seen a lot of speakers do that, and to some extent, it's been effective, and people will remember that abbreviation and remember, oh, that person gave me an evaluation using abbreviations. Again, this doesn't come on first go. Over a period of time, when you practice, it comes naturally to you. So pick up one technique that you find is easy to implement. For me, 3, 2, 1 has been my standard go. 3 areas where I like the speech, 2 recommendations, and summarize. That's the no nonsense evaluation technique. So give this a try today. Now, the question is, where do you get a platform to evaluate? Is it only here? Where else can you go? You can come to my club. You can take up an evaluator role, try it out, try the same method at a different club. Keep trying and you'll get the feedback from the general evaluator also to see that how well you've done your evaluation. Now, before I go to the last segment, can I have a quick check on if anyone has any questions? No. Is it going here, going there? Anyone from the online audience? Anyone has any questions? Kavi, do you have any questions? Is he there?
Yeah, I'm there, Rajesh. No questions. I mean, very well put. Thank you for the session.
Harshitha, how much time do we have more? 5 minutes. Great. 2 areas that I want you to really be focused on. What makes you stand out from the rest of the evaluators? First step, look beyond the obvious. In my experience, observation, I generally see people focusing only on the delivery. A lot of us forget to focus on the content. When I say content, does the content connect with what the speaker is trying to convey? So there was a speech that I delivered in my area contest, had 2 specific purposes. And that's where you'll confuse the audience. Rajesh is saying this, but he's also saying that. Which one should I follow? So do not make sure that you're not confused as an evaluator. There is very crystal clear, specific purpose given to you. All right. The second tip, you always evaluate the speech and not the speaker. I repeat, you always evaluate the speech and not the speaker. No? Didn't understand the point? Do not consider any historic data of the speaker. On that day, how the speaker performed, what is the speech about, you only evaluate the speech. So this is something, a common practice where we see that on that day you did much better, today you weren't that great. No, that's not your data point. Your objectives are given. Look at the purpose. Look at these questions of enduku emitiyala. That's it. So evaluate the speech and not the speaker. Okay, so given that we have 5 minutes time, let's open it for Q&A. And my question again, how many of you are yet to evaluate speeches? This is your time to experiment a lot of things. Please take up the evaluation role. One of the learnings that I have is once you take up evaluation roles, you become better speech writers. That's been one of my learnings. So the more you evaluate, the better speakers or writers, speech writers you become. So this is pretty much my time. I'm open for Q&A session. Any questions? So give it a try. Pranav, right? You give it a try. Again, the methods I've said are something that I've tried. There is no standard hard-coded template. You give it a try, come on stage. You're pretty much doing the comment, recommend. It may be on delivery, maybe on content. You can do that. As long it's working and the speaker feels that this is adding value to me, it's okay. Any other question? Sure. I feel you, bro. So that's been my challenge as well. So this is something I watched a video online on YouTube by one of our district champion called as Jonathan. He said that evaluation, like a speech, is a presentation. If we are only going there and sharing our points, yeah, your points might be remembered. But when you do it as a performance, you'll be remembered. And trust me, I'm also working. I've not been a great performer when it comes to evaluations, but I'm definitely a good critical evaluator. We'll work together and find out how effectively we can deliver our evaluations better. Okay.
Rajesh,
Yes, Kavi.
now if you could rephrase the question and tell the answer, it will
So
be
the
good for
question,
online audience.
sorry.
We couldn't
Yes.
listen to the
Got it.
question.
So Daksh had a brilliant question. So his question was, Rajesh, at the contest, evaluation contest, just like me, all of them had very similar pointers. But when they went on stage, their delivery, the way they convey the message was far more impactful than what I had. But the point was the same. How do I work on it?
Yeah,
So
got it.
my recommendation was just like a speech, even the evaluation has to be like a performance and we need to work on our delivery. And I am personally also working on it. So that's what I recommended. Harsha. It's very common to not to have recommendations, especially either the speaker is extremely accomplished or you are a budding evaluator. This is a common scenario and it's absolutely okay if you don't have points of recommendation, but make sure that whatever great things you found in the speaker, if you felt that you are going to learn or if the audience might learn, convey it effectively. There have been many instances where I couldn't even find out with a magnifying glass areas of recommendation for a DTM speech delivering their DTM second project speech. So I couldn't do that as well. So personally, I feel it's okay. In a contest, I don't know what to do though. Kavi, the question was what happens if we don't have any areas of recommendation for the speaker? And honestly, as a budding evaluator, if you don't have, I recommend that it's okay. And especially the speaker is well accomplished, it happens quite often that you might not really find any areas of recommendation. Yeah, not just Kavi, all the online audience. That was the question. Okay, any last question before I close? Yes, go ahead. Your question again. How do we evaluate an icebreaker speech? So the question, your name? Madhumita's question is, usually in an icebreaker, the recommendations list would be longer. Should we be strict with it? Now, again, if you go back to the first point I said, what is the objective of an icebreaker? The icebreaker's objective, at least back in those days, was for the speaker to come on stage and introduce himself or herself to the club. That's your objective. First objective, observe whether the objectives are met. Given that it's an icebreaker, the general tendency is to make sure that the speaker is feeling comfortable and motivated. I, as an icebreaker evaluator, would try to identify what are the existing speaking skills the speaker has. It's not about trying to find out recommendations. Yes, 1 or 2 recommendations are okay. But personally, I would rather motivate the speaker since it's their first speech. But beyond icebreaker, I would say go for hard love, go all out. Harshitha, on the time, we're done. 3 minutes. Great. Any questions from the online audience? Smriti, go ahead. Then we'll have Pragya.
Hi Rajesh, thank you for the amazing session. So I have this question saying, what if you're an evaluator and the speech have not met the objectives, and you have to tell them that you have to repeat your speech. How do you convey it in a way that is not very overwhelming to the
Yeah.
speaker?
You don't want to hurt the speaker and you don't want to say chichi, something like that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
again, this is a very tricky situation. So I'll rephrase the question. What if the speaker does not meet the objectives? How do I politely let them know? Please repeat the speech and not hurt them. Simple. Stick to your evaluation. Let the speaker know what he or she did well. Areas of recommendation. As per the objectives, these were the objectives. And from my opinion, I couldn't find that these objectives were met. I would recommend you to work on the objectives again and re-deliver your project. That's all. Now it's up to the speaker whether he or she finds it valuable and is ready to repeat the speech. It's up to the speaker. But as an evaluator, you've conveyed the message saying that, hey, you've not met the objectives. I would recommend you to repeat the speech or work on your objectives and redo the project. Does that help, Smriti?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks. Yes, Pragyan, go ahead.
Hi Rajesh, thank you for a wonderful session. So my question is, what recommendation we can give apart from the usual areas of improvement we give to the speaker? Suppose in a contest when there are 5 speakers giving the same recommendation, so what I can bring to do something out of the box?
Okay. Pragya, this is something one of your own club leaders has dissected and found in my evaluation method, and I've kind of started to worry. So go look for something beyond the obvious. That's the tip I give. Look for something beyond the objectives. I repeat again, most of them, even at contests, I've observed that they comment on vocal variety and body language. Honestly, my dirty trick is I never comment on the vocal variety and body language. Please don't follow it, but this is what I've been doing. I focus only on the content and maybe the delivery if it's not aligning with the content at all. Because I know all the evaluators will focus also on the delivery. So I'll strictly focus on content, specific purpose, general purpose, and see that whether the specific purpose has been achieved. So if you were to stand out, focus on how effectively the speaker has worked on his specific purpose. Whether you're convinced enough, you know that after this session, I'm convinced that this is one of the techniques that I want to try. I have achieved my specific purpose. If people still aren't sure about the methods, I have not achieved. So ask this question about specific purpose and general purpose. You hardly see people talking about it. Has anyone heard about evaluators talking about specific purpose and general purpose? No. So do that. That's a tip I can give you.
Thank you so much. It definitely helped me.
Thanks, Pragya. I think we are out of time. Harshitha is going to throw the red card at me right now. So I formally hand over the session to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Veera.
Well, that's a wonderful session. I got to know a lot about a lot of mistakes which I have done in my speech evaluation. So thanks a lot, Toastmaster Rajesh. And now we'll be having a prepared speech. And Toastmaster Madhumita, I would like to call upon her. I would like to call her up onto the stage. So Toastmaster Madhumita will be delivering her L1P4 S2 speech in the pathway of presentation mastery. Toastmaster Madhumita, life a game of choices, a game of choice, life a game of choices. Toastmaster Madhumita.
Life, a game of choices. When I said that life is a game of choices, you must have known that what I'm going to talk about. Decisions. Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. Have you all heard about the poem named The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost? Yes, because it was a part of our syllabus, so we had to study it. The poem discusses about a person who's in dilemma of choosing the first path or the second path. That poem, when I heard it for the first time, I pondered whether why didn't the poet choose the other road, which he had no idea of. Where did it lead to? What did it have stored for that poet? Why didn't he go for that? Is it because he didn't want to go for an adventurous trip, or did he want for the easiest way? When I said that life is a road, we know that there's a path in front of us, and we know that it will lead us to somewhere else. We always try to understand what is there in it, but we never knew how it will be. Some roads will lead to happiness and victory, and some to sadness and disappointment. We we travel through a zillion of roads, which gives us a new experience. Each road makes you to see the same thing in a new different perspective. For example, imagine yourself going to a new city, exploring everything, and you got lost. And in the midst of all these things, your battery died. Now you don't even know the local language. Now you have two options. One, to go forward and experience that road, which you have no idea where it will take to. The second option, to go back where you have come from and not even care about the road that's in front of you. Decisions are very difficult to take. When I was in my 10th grade, an incident happened to me where I had to take a decision. I think it's really overrated when I say it's decision, because it was a choice in exact. My teacher came to me and asked, Madhumita, we have a speaker role open for annual day celebrations. Would you like to take it up? Me, whose dream was to speak on stage, whose dream was to face the public and overcome my stage fear. I wanted to say, yes, mom, I want to take up the speaker role, but no, my stage fear hindered me. I didn't go. I asked mom, can I take some time and let you know? Mom said, yes, you can. I went home. I pondered, should I go for it? What if I mess it up? What if I stammer on the stage and my friends mock of me? Come on, it'll be a nightmare. My dream will become my nightmare. But my will to speak on stage, put my stage fear aside and said, if not now, when? When will you do it? Go for it. I went for it. The D-Day arrived. I gave my best. And you know what? Everyone appreciated me for that. 4 years later, when I look back, I think that was one of the best decisions I have ever made. Even though I have made mistakes, I learn from it. Decisions can be very small, like, for example, uh, choosing to study over scrolling Instagram, or choosing your passion over money, or choosing not to attend, or choosing to say no instead of saying yes. We think that small decisions are the ones which do not influence, but in contrary, those are the ones which influence your journey. For example, you know that you will be graduating one day, you will be getting a job, and you will be going out and do everything, explore. Now that are a big part of the life. But what are the small things? The small things you do every day. Waking up early. That is a small decision that you will make yourself for your mental health. Those are the small things that affect you. You may think that not every decision has to be easier. See, if there's a bend in the road, it doesn't mean it's the end of the road. Maybe you can take a U-turn. When you go and you have no other choice but to go back, it's okay. Go back. But for some people, you have no other option but go down through that lane of difficulties and hurdles. The people, the the passion driven people are the ones who take the road which is less taken by the people, because that is what teaches you the most. Whenever you take a decision, think about the three P's in your life. The first P, passion. Is it your passion that is driving you to take up the decision? Know the purpose of it. The second P, purpose. Know the purpose. Why are you taking that decision? Does it add any value to your life? Does it add any value to your day-to-day life? Yes or no? The third P, prioritize. Prioritize yourself, your mental health, and your career. Nothing is more important than that. You are the one who will be traveling that road, not your friend or anyone else. These are the three P's that you have to follow before taking up a decision.
A quick check for the online audience. We are audible.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, thanks, Vinutna. Was for the speaker. The speaker was delivering level 1 project for speech 2. And the feedback she had received from a previous evaluator was to work on the storytelling aspect, the conversation, and to reduce the number of pauses, interestingly. And these effectively become my input to evaluate our speaker today. Hello all, good morning. And a special good morning to our speaker today, Toastmaster Madhumita. What if I stammer? What if I mess it up? If not now, then when? These 3 lines were the perfect summary for our speaker's speech today, who started off with a very philosophical context about the road not taken, a poem about the tough path or which path to choose. And how many of you could relate to that in your current scenario, especially when you graduate? Should I go for higher studies or should I get a job? So something that helped me to connect with the speaker immediately was the context that our speaker said, and that was job well done. And you could easily connect with the audience, and that helps you. Trust me, if not for the first 30 seconds of your speech, if you do not connect with the audience, it's tata bye-bye. It's like either some of them will be on phone, sleeping, or you'll be lost. Secondly, what the speaker did well today was the conversations which were given as a feedback with her and her teacher, where she spoke about the incident where she was asked to take up a speaker role and she hesitated, thought about it, and eventually she overcame her fear. This kind of conveyed the challenge the speaker had, how she overcame, and also set the specific premise for a speech about the decision making, which is a major challenge that we all face. What did she give the audience? She gave 3 P's. How many of you remember what these 3 P's are? Passion, purpose, and priority. She gave you a small method in case you are having trouble with decision making to follow these 3 P's and give it a try. So to some extent, she gave the audience something to work on. And to add to it, in a summary, she took a philosophical turn saying that if not now, then when? Do you want to be a bystander of your life or you want to live your life? So this is where you have to ask yourself the choices that you make. So this is what I felt for the speaker that stood out. Now let us focus on certain areas where I felt the speaker can work upon. Starting with a question that I ask: has the speaker shown us how to achieve the decision making through the 3 P's? She has shared the 3 P's, but did she apply in her life and show it to us? No. So Madhumita, I would love to see how you applied this methodology in your life and how it worked for you. The second point is, the speaker also said that there were certain challenges and I overcame. I would love to know, what were these challenges? How did you face and how did you overcome? I would like to learn from that. So to summarize, our speaker did well based on the objectives given as a feedback from the previous speaker, specifically on the storytelling part, the conversation, and on the pauses. A focus point on how the speaker overcame the problems and how she implemented the 3 P's in her life would actually give away the specific purpose for all of us, and we'll go home and start implementing today for the decisions we make in life. All the best, Toastmaster Madhumita. I look forward to see more speeches from you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh. That's a wonderful evaluation. And now we'll be having a 5 minutes of break. So timer, please time the. Welcome back. Let's have a table topic session now. And let me call upon Toastmaster Daksh onto the stage.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's a Saturday morning, that too, one day after an event. Most of us are very tired. I know I am very tired, but still we are here for this educational session by Toastmaster Rajesh. Thank you for your insights. And now it's time for a table topic session. So what exactly is a table topic session? If you open Instagram and you start scrolling through reels, one very common theme of reels that you'll notice is a person goes to his crush and he tries to talk to her, but it doesn't work out. He screws up in some random weird way. Maybe, for example, Daksh, I think it's gonna rain today. Me, very nervous. Oh, thanks. You too. So this is a very bad answer to give your crush during a date. And this happens when you're nervous. When you come onto the stage and you're nervous, you start fumbling a little. And that's what the table topic session is for. Preparing a speech and coming and talking here is a skill. But coming here and talking impromptu is another skill on its own. So I have a bunch of questions prepared, and I would like some volunteers to come onto the stage if they want to and try answering them. Okay, Jaswita, Toastmasters Jaswita. Toastmaster Jaswita, the first question for you. If you could go back in time and meet your 15-year-old self, what advice would you give yourself?
My 15-year-old self. I just completed my 10th grade and I was given a choice to become an engineer, computer science engineer, and had to go for MPC for that. Then I was put into Narayana. Had no choice or whatsoever. Me and my parents went to the hostel to look at it. There were 6 floors of hostel. My mom and me, we were on the first floor. She looked at the hostel and she said, "Oh my God, we are into a graveyard. I'm not sending you here." But I was very excited. I just wanted to go away from home and wanted to have a sense of freedom, which I couldn't get from Narayana, but still, I was just excited to be left alone. Then mom was asking one of the seniors over there, "How many floors do you have?" And the senior replied, "Auntie, you are just on the 2nd floor. You still have to go 4 floors up." And mom said, "Do people climb 6 floors every time they have to go? Isn't it very hard?" And guess what? There were chits, and I got the 6th floor, 601. And mom didn't come with me for all the luggage carriers. She took 20 minutes while I was putting all my luggage. And people said, "You're very lucky you got 6th floor. You would have got some other room in the 6th floor if this particular woman didn't help you." And that particular woman took money for 6th floor, and I didn't know why she took money for 6th floor. And back in the time, what I could go and change is that maybe at that particular point of time when mom said, "Okay, I'm not sending you there," I should have told, "No, I will go to some other college or study somewhere else." But I just wanted a sense of freedom. So I just went there. But it was a very good choice. I came to Amrita instead. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaswita. You know, actually, when you said that even after seeing the hostel, you wanted to come here, I was like really judging you. But then you said they're from Narayana, so now I don't judge you anymore. Okay. Any other volunteer from the online? Okay. How about Pranav? Toastmaster Pranav. If you became the president of TAB for one term, what would be the first thing you do?
Well, if I become the president of this community, which we have called TAB, the first thing which I do, which I noticed today, is that I'll ban people from coming in uniforms to this meeting. Please, let's not do that. Well, jokes aside, TAB has been a really, really great community. And our president here, our presidents here over time have done a great job, I presume, because I'm a very new person to TAB, just a month old. So what I feel I will do as a president is I'll rather listen to all of your inputs and see if I can implement them. I'll listen to our most experienced member, Harsha, Dinesh, the current president, Janani, everyone. Try to take everyone, sail in the same boat. Maybe ensure that this community grows and people realize that there is a club where we can perform, we can We can talk, we can learn to interact with people much better, and just keep the vibe of this place alive, which it has been. That'll be all.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pranav. And I totally second the idea of banning uniforms while coming to meeting. Okay, let's switch it up a little. Toastmaster Rajesh, I actually have a special question prepared just for you. So would you like to volunteer yourself? Toastmaster Rajesh, you have been a part of Toastmasters for almost 10 years now. So throughout your experience, what was the hardest challenge that you faced and how do you overcome it?
I'm still not 10 years old at Toastmasters. I'm 119 months. So if you do the math, I'm 1 month short. The first 3 years of my Toastmasters journey, I was pretty much like you here in a conference room attending Toastmasters meeting, confined myself to a club, not knowing what was beyond the club. The biggest challenge, or rather the mistake that I did, wasn't realized until first 3 years of my journey. At the third year of my Toastmasters journey, my club decided not to conduct contest. And they saw me, Bella, time pass sitting alone. Rajesh, why don't you be the nominee candidate for our area contest? And this is the first time I got a chance to go beyond the club, participate in an area contest. Not that I won at a club level, but nobody participated and I was just merely nominated. That's the time I had the reality check, a slap on my face to realize that I could not speak in front of an unfamiliar audience. At an area contest, I fumbled. I spoke for 1 minute, 39 seconds on a speech which I wasn't well prepared and I came back. But on the other side, the beauty was I found myself a mentor who's become a friend, who's become a celebrity today, guided me for these 7 years to identify myself as a better speaker, not so great leader, but more importantly, made me realize that the mistake that I did for the first 3 years, I do not repeat it and make sure I convey this message to go beyond the club if given a chance at the earliest. That's it. Back to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh, for your sharing experiences. And I actually understand the fact, being very scared, speaking in front of an unknown audience. And actually, we have many great mentors in this club who actually push us to, take more roles outside the club. So I'm very thankful to all of them. Okay. Any other volunteers, maybe from the online audience or anyone present here? Toastmaster Harsha. Toastmaster Harsha, this is a very special question. It's not exactly a question. I'm going to give you 3 words, and I want you to make a very short story out of it. I'll give you the liberty to actually, use those words in your story. All right. Your 3 words are holiday, water park, and hospital. I'll just repeat them again. Holiday, water park, and hospital.
Sixth class, Sri Chaitanya Techno School. Harsha was sitting in the last bench, and Rama Devi ma'am, the psycho, the English teacher, was standing on the stage in front and asked, Harsha, are you coming to the water park? We are going, every one of us. Do you want to come with us or not? I said, Abba nahi manega. And that moment, I went home and asked my dad, Nana, can I go to the water park? All of my friends are going. The school is planning a small trip. And he gave a direct no, which is very obvious. After crying, after doing a lot of drama, after bringing the drama queen out of me, I decided to go to the park. No, my dad decided that I'll go to the water park. It was a very freshly planned holiday, and we were at the water park. That very moment, me being the weirdest person in the whole group, I decided to look at a board which said, do not step after this line. You should cross this line. There was a warning. But I ignored the warning. Such a beautiful warning, man. If we don't do such things, how am I supposed to be a sixth class kid? So with all the confidence, with other 5 friends of mine, we put our hands together and cross the line with the biggest smile on our faces, the biggest smile in our lives. Little did we know that the line was leading to something called Musi. If we walk a few steps, there was a very ugly river coming towards our way called Musi. And 2 of our teachers came running to us and got us back from there. Else, we would have been in a hospital by now. That story is something that will remain in my life forever because I understood that if there is a warning, I shouldn't cross the warning. If there is a deadline, maybe I should meet the deadline but not cross the deadline. That is the learning I'll always take away. Thank you so much. Back to you, Daksh.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Harsha. That was an amazing story. The only weird thing about your story I noticed was like, you're from Sri Chaitanya and yet they took you for a trip. How surprising. Okay. Anyone else who wants to volunteer? Online audience? Or maybe should I start calling someone? No? Toastmaster Nikhilesh, would you like to come? Come on, let's give it a try. All right. For you also, I have 3 words and you have to make a story out of it. All right. Your 3 words are late night, friends, and graveyard. I'll just repeat the words late night, friends, and graveyard.
Right then. Late night, friends, and graveyard. Okay. So as soon as I heard the first 2 words, late night and friends, Toastmasters Sanidhya knew what I was going to talk about, but then yeah, graveyard came up. So anyway, yeah, I think this happened in class 2 or class 3. For class students from class 2, people who study in class 2, late night is 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. At least in my household, it was 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, my parents never allowed me inside the house. I was supposed to stand out till 9:30 or something outside the door, and then they'll allow me inside. But anyway, so that was late night for us. So one day, second grade kids, okay, we all decided. We heard something from a school senior, fourth grade student, that there's a place, a gated place. You go inside, you'll find amazing things there. You should go in the night. Like, okay, let's go. And one fine day, after playing Pakadam Pakadai, the favorite sport for all the Indian kids, we went inside. And it was very amazing. Because for people in class 2, they don't know what graveyard is. Okay. It said graveyard, but we didn't know what it is. All graveyard, the only graveyard we know was from the game Ghost in the Graveyard. Anyone knows the game Ghost in the Graveyard? Okay. People, okay, yeah, yes. So yeah, I'll explain what that is afterwards. But yeah, and it was what 7:30 or something. And after this, I learned a very good trick. I had a watch. I was always fond of watches. Okay, so this is what I did with my watch. I knew my dad was gonna belt me for this. After going home after 7:30, he'll belt me for this. He will definitely belt me. So what I did was I took my watch, rolled on this thing, the analog watch we have, put it back to 6:30, and I was like, the clock stopped working. I can't do anything. So this is a story I'll always remember because I was very smart when it comes to, well, lying. I was very smart when it comes to lying. So this was one of my first lies, I guess. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nikhilesh. I'm just surprised that, in second grade, your curfew was 8 o'clock. For me, when I was in 6th, if I reached home after 6, my parents, so they would just shift their home, so just they don't have to deal with me wailing, Ma, please, for today, you just let me come in. I won't do it again tomorrow. But anyway, that brings us to the end of the table topic session. I hope you guys had fun. And now back to the Master of Ceremony, Toastmaster Vinay.
Those are a few amazing topics, Toastmaster Daksh, and we enjoyed them a lot. And hope you have learned a lot about the from the education session. Personally, I came to know about many methods which we can use other than sandwich method. And during my speech evaluation, I used to majorly concentrate on body language. And now I got to know that we should concentrate more on content. And then I've personally learned a lot. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh. And I would like to give a big round of applause for Toastmaster Rajesh. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of the meeting, and over to you, presiding officer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Veerabhadra. You are an amazing master of ceremony. Now that brings us to the end of the meeting. Before we close the meeting, can I request Toastmaster Rajesh to come over to the stage? As a sign of gratitude and for making us learn a lot of things today, I would like to present you this bouquet. Thank you so much for attending today's session. I hope all of us learned a lot of things today and as well as had fun. With that being said, I'll close the meeting. I declare meeting number 201, theme the educational session, closed. The session is open for networking.